Hey guys, let's get more news from Dallas Cowboys, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Green Bay Packers shockingly low chance to beat Dallas Cowboys, revealed by ESPN matchup predictor. The Green Bay Packers know very well that they are the underdogs when they play the Dallas Cowboys in the wild card round of the 2024 NFL playoffs on Sunday. However, in a projection that will disappoint many, the Cowboys are overwhelming favorites to win. According to the ESPN matchup predictor, the Packers only have a 26.4% chance to win the game. Meanwhile, the Cowboys are at 73.6%. Those are certainly not the numbers that Packers fans want to see heading to the playoffs. Many are dreaming to see Jordan Love lead the team to a deep postseason run, and after they beat the Chicago Bears in Week 18 to book their playoff tickets, those hopes only intensified. Unfortunately for the Packers faithful, reality can be cruel. While the Green Bay franchise is definitely one of the best feel-good stories of the season, the fact of the matter is they are still a young team that has yet to get postseason experience. On the other end of the field, they will be facing a battle-tested Cowboys team that has been in the postseason for 3 straight years now since Mike McCarthy took over. Another thing that doesn't go in the favor of the Green Bay Packers is that they will be playing on the road, against the best home team in the league throughout the 2023 season. The Cowboys are undefeated at AT&T Stadium, going 8-0, even beating the likes of the Detroit Lions, Philadelphia Eagles, and Los Angeles Rams on their turf. Love and the Packers are certainly facing an uphill battle if they want to pull off an upset against the Cowboys. At the end of the day, though, odds are just numbers. While the Packers are not in the best situation, it should be noted that they are riding a 3-game winning streak and enters the contest brimming with confidence. The Dallas Cowboys are the better team numbers-wise, which is why they are predicted to dominate the game anyway. Mike McCarthy's squad is in the top 5 in the NFL for both total offense and defense, which is a good recipe for success. The only issue for the team is they often struggle against top-rated teams, though they often take care of business against those that are relatively weaker than them. With that said, they are definitely dangerous opponents for the Packers. The McCarthy Chronicles, Cowboys took care of business, ready for playoffs. Mike McCarthy couldn't have asked for a better script. Upon arriving in Dallas, McCarthy has gone about trying to reinvent the Cowboys from the inside out. That hasn't necessarily meant a rebuild or a total roster overhaul, but the Pittsburgh native and Super Bowl winning head coach saw a need for added toughness in this locker room and had a plan to instill just that. Predictably, there were some growing pains in 2020, which were not helped in any way by the sudden onset of the pandemic or all of the injuries the team suffered that season. But the Cowboys started to round into form towards the end of that season, winning 3 of their last 4 games. Since then, it's been nothing but regular season success. McCarthy has now posted 3 straight 12-win seasons, 3 straight playoff berths, and 2 division titles. That's a level of consistency this franchise hasn't seen since the glory days of the 90s. Over these last 3 seasons, McCarthy has also produced a team that wins at home, 21-4 in AT&T Stadium, including 8-0 this year, wins their division games, 15-3 against the NFC East, and responds well after a loss, outscoring opponents 392-176. Each season, those defining traits have become even more pronounced, which is why the 2023 Cowboys seem to have their playoff hopes hinging on their ability to win the division and secure at least one playoff game at home. A couple of weeks ago, it seemed like that would be impossible. However, a meltdown from the Eagles gave McCarthy's team a golden opportunity, beat the Commanders on the road and clinch both the division and the 2nd seed in the NFC. That's exactly the kind of high-stakes, prove-what-you're-made-of scenario that McCarthy has built this team for, which is why it was so encouraging to see the Cowboys blow out the Commanders on Sunday. Things started out a little shaky, but they also weren't playing in perfect conditions. FedEx Field is known for its poor playing surface, and the winds were blowing harder than normal. On top of it all, the Cowboys were without their 2 starting guards. Tyler Smith had been an expected absence all week, but Zach Martin's inactive status, with an illness, took everyone by surprise. The last time the Cowboys had to start 2 backups on the offensive line, they lost to one of the worst teams in the league on the road. No such mistakes were made this time, and the Cowboys didn't even let things get close. They more or less had this one wrapped up by halftime, and Dak Prescott had another great game. Now, they head into the postseason, and the path forward has never been more clear for McCarthy's Cowboys. Whether or not McCarthy's job actually relies on how the team performs in the playoffs this year, there is a clear sense of urgency to capitalize on a strong season in a wide-open conference. Failing to at least reach the NFC Championship game would be a disappointment. Possible candidates to replace Pete Carroll as Seahawks head coach headlined by Cowboys DC Dan Quinn. With Pete Carroll stepping aside as head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, the team will embark on the search for a new coach for the first time since 2010. General Manager John Schneider will be tasked with finding Carroll's replacement as he takes full control of the front office after working in tandem with Carroll for the last 14 seasons. One of the names most easily connected to the opening is a fairly familiar one for Seahawks fans: Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn. Quinn spent 4 years on Carroll's coaching staff with the Seahawks over 2 different stints with the team. He was one of a few holdovers from Jim Mora's coaching staff when Carroll was hired in 2010. Quinn served as Carroll's assistant head coach/defensive line coach for 2 years, before leaving to become the defensive coordinator at the University of Florida. Quinn returned to Seattle in 2013 as Carroll's defensive coordinator after Gus Bradley left to become head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. In his 2 years as defensive coordinator, the Seahawks made back-to-back trips to the Super Bowl and won their first Lombardi Trophy in franchise history. Quinn left to become head coach of the Atlanta Falcons in 2014 and made it to the Super Bowl in 2016. After being let go by the Falcons after the 2020 season, Quinn was hired as the defensive coordinator in Dallas. Quinn obviously knows many people in the Seahawks building, including Schneider and VP of Player Personnel Trent Kirchner. The Cowboys have been a top 10 scoring defense in each of Quinn's 3 seasons as defensive coordinator, and improved from 19th in total defense in 2021 to 5th this season. But Quinn likely won't be the only candidate on the Seahawks' radar. The Rooney Rule requires each NFL team to interview at least 2 external minority candidates for available head coaching positions. So the team will be mandated to at least speak with 2 such candidates. The process is just starting for the Seahawks, so none of the following names are anyone officially connected to the vacancy. However, they are candidates that would make sense for the team to consider for one reason or another. No insider knowledge, yet, on these possibilities. If Pete Carroll leaving the Seahawks is the most shocking coaching change of the offseason, Vrabel's departure from the Titans would be a close second. Vrabel won the AP NFL Coach of the Year award in 2021 for leading the Titans to the AFC Championship game. But after consecutive losing seasons, owner Amy Adams Strunk decided to go a different direction. In 6 seasons with the Titans, Vrabel went 56-48 overall, including a 2-3 record in the playoffs. And you fan, what do you think of the Dan Quinn situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.